What is Ford doing? Look all around me right here. Every one of these trucks in these two rows is $80, $90, or $100,000. Check out this truck right here. This is absolutely insane. This truck is $147,000. This is the reason why Ford is failing right now. Here's the MSRP on it, $84,000. And then they added on the Shelby package, the lift, the wheels, the rims, everything, I mean, when it's all said and done, it's going to be probably $60,000 with all your fees. Oh, that's crazy. Who's the buyer for that truck? That's insane. So we got that one over there, it's $147,000. We got this one right here, is $137,000. These are at the front, right? It's obvious. These are the ones they want to sell. Think about how much margin is in all that aftermarket stuff that they put on that truck. Absolutely insane. So I just counted just this whole line right here. There's 22 of these trucks right here. And I would guess it'd be just about the same, probably about 20 trucks on this line. So they've got about 40 trucks right here they're ranging anywhere from like 80,000. And that's the low side of these two rows right here, because these trucks over here were $130-something thousand. So on average, probably $110,000 for all these trucks in these two lines, times 40. That's how much money is sitting right here, just sitting. Oh. Who are these customers? And I think this is another big segment of the car market that's going to have to take a lot of cuts. And this are the big 3-row SUVs. And this is actually one of the cheaper ones on the market that you're going to find. It's crazy. It's crazy for me to say that a 2024 Ford Expedition for a 3rd-row vehicle at $70,000 is one of the cheaper models. Those prices are going to have to get cut, because you have on Jeep side, you have the Grand Wagoneer, which in some cases we've actually seen a promotion. If someone buys a Grand Wagoneer, I think Car Edge ran this, where they get like a free Jeep Compass with it. I can't remember what the vehicle was, but they were giving them a free vehicle with it. Two vehicles that nobody wants, right? A Wagoneer and a Compass, but they're trying these any way that they can get consumers to buy their vehicles. And they're trying to do this in a way without even lowering their freaking price. I guess they're lowering the Jeep Compass to $0. But really, at the end of the day, you got to lower these prices like 30, 40% or whatever before they're actually going to start moving. And I think we're going to see that this year. We're already having threats out of Jeep, some hush-hush news, some rumors, whatever you want to call it, 35% across the board. In my opinion, I think it's coming. From what I've heard from franchise managers I've talked to, from distressed dealerships that we're seeing right now. Big cuts coming this year, I think. And here are a couple more Shelby trucks. I want to check the price on this one right here. This one, look, this F-150 off-road Shelby. Price on this one's $141,000 for this truck. $141,000. And then we have another one that's right here. Let's check the price on this one. The MSRP was $85,000. Then you got all the add-ons, $147 grand for this truck. $147,000. Insane. All right, so this is an F-250 right here. It's a Lariat, and I want to show you this. It's $93,000, but this one's a 2025, and I want to point that out. Let me just grab another random truck. This is a F-250, I think. This might be a 350 XL. I would guess, yep, it's 2024. And let's keep on just going this way. I want to look at the years that we can see. Here's a sticker on the side of this one. Of course, it's going to be the smallest gap between. Yep, 2024. $60,000. That's one of the cheaper ones that I've seen. And then we'll go to this, let's just go to another truck that's right here. I'm looking at the years is what I'm looking at when I'm going through. Yep, 2024. So we just checked 4 random trucks, 1 2025 and 3 2024s. And that's something that we're going to see across the board at a lot of these Ford dealerships and a lot of these manufacturers, where we have tons and tons and tons of 2024s. We even have 2023s that are still sitting on these lots. But you've got that 2025 truck that they probably just got it. And we have to get a lot of these 2024s off of dealership lots. So if you are going to buy a vehicle, then I would recommend you try to year down a little bit. Instead of going out for the brand new in the 2025s, you're going to get a much better deal on a 2024. Now, I would also recommend that you just don't buy a truck right now, because I think price cuts are going to come. And I want to, while we're just talking about this right now, let's check a couple more, because I bet most of these are going to be 2024s. Yep, 2024, $63,000. let's just go across. We'll go to another Super Duty over here because I'm just picking up random trucks, and I think probably 90% of the trucks that are going to be on this lot are going to be 2024s. Yep, 2024, $95,000. $95,000 for a truck, my goodness. All right, and let's check, we'll check one more. So we'll check this Super Duty right here. Actually, we'll check two more. We'll check this one right here too. Yep, 2024 F250, $91,000. And there's a F150 that's right here beside of it. It's an XLT. And like you guessed it, another 2024, $58,000 is actually the cheapest. That's the cheapest truck that I've seen so far. 4-door, cheapest truck, XLT, and your more retail ready kind of truck, $58,000. Absolutely insane. But all these 2024s all across this lot, big problem for Ford. Typically in the car market, what would happen is at the end of the calendar year, you would start getting the next year truck. And by the time we're right here, early of 2025, you would start seeing mostly 2025s on the lot. It's not happening like that right now. It's because these dealerships, they're having a hard time selling a lot of the stock that they've had for 300, for 400, for 500 days sitting on their lot. This is a setup for absolute disaster in the car market right now. We're seeing it. We're seeing it right now at these dealerships. I mean, look, this place is absolutely packed of not 2025s. We're in 2025. It's up 2024s. So here's another problem for a lot of these manufacturers is that, okay, tariffs could be sprinkled into the mix. And I can almost guarantee you all these Broncos right here, these little Bronco Sports, the big body Broncos that are stacking up at these dealerships, I think just about all of them are assembled in Mexico. So if you have all these vehicles that are coming from Mexico, you've got a lot of parts at least that are coming from Mexico, and you get these tariffs that have been proposed, 25%. Now I know that we've had this, maybe it's a bluff, whatever, but anyway, there's a threat that's there, and whether or not it actually happens, if there's ever a scenario where any kind of tariffs happen, where from Mexico we're getting extra taxes that are being put on these vehicles, well, there's only really two scenarios. One, the customer eats it, where Ford says, okay, well, we have this extra cost that's coming in, so we have to raise our MSRPs even more. And we're already seeing that, like these big body Broncos right here, they're not moving. So what's going to happen whenever you increase the price on them? Well, they're going to not move even more, if that's even possible. So you're going to have, at that point, more incentives come in to help dealers actually move them. And in that case, then the customer's not eating it. It's Ford that's going to eat it. Or you have Ford that just eats it in the beginning. In which case their stock price is probably going to get hit. In which case they're going to be more layoffs. In which case they're going to start bringing more production to the U.S., but that takes time, that takes a lot of money. And then when you bring production to the U.S., well, even though they're bypassing that 25% tariff that could happen, then they might be paying 25% more in labor, or even more than that if you're going U.S. labor versus labor that you're getting in Mexico. No, it's way more than 25% now that I'm saying it out loud. So even higher costs there. So with the tariffs, you're going to get maybe a good scenario where, okay, more U.S. citizens are going to get jobs. They're going to bring more production to the U.S. But at the end of the day, the consumer is going to end up paying for it because it's just going to make everything cost more. Either that or Ford has to eat it, and then maybe that's something that a lot of these big manufacturers, maybe they can't eat. They can't survive that. Now Ford's got cash to wait and see. But I mean, at the end of the day, if your company's not making money, shareholders are not going to be happy about that. Or if you're making a lot less money per vehicle, or if you're raising your prices where you can make money, but then nobody's buying it. Either way, bad scenario for Ford. Think about the floor plan cost that goes along with this dealer, with all of these trucks that are sitting here. And every time I come to this dealership, they have tons of them. From what I understand, they get a lot of these trucks in, and they'll do like a lot of the aftermarket stuff, and they'll have people come from all across the country to come buy trucks just like this. But it seems like every time I come here, they have more and more of these trucks sitting. And we know that Ford right now, all their dealers have over 100-day supply, and this is really hurting a lot of these dealers. Harley Davidson, the sticker's going to be on this side, I believe. Let's look here. Yeah, 133 grand on this truck. And how many do they have? Just of the Harley Davidson ones, they have 1, 2, they've got a couple more down there. Yeah, I see a front end of one down there. And that's just the beginning, because you have a lot of the Black Widow packages. They're going to be $80,000, $90,000. You got more of these lifted F-250s. They're going to be $100,000, $120,000. That's a lot of interest that these dealers have to pay. And this is why the Ford model is really kind of blowing up in Ford's face right now. Now these are a bunch of aftermarket stuff, but even when you're looking at, okay, lower tier to mid-tier trucks, you're still looking at $60,000, $70,000 for the average consumer to buy if they want a full-size truck. If you want a full-size truck at Ford, mid-tier truck, you're paying $70,000 for it. This is the problem, and this is why Ford has put out their forecast for this year and says it's not going to be all that good. Affordability is one of the biggest issues that Ford's dealing with, and a lot of the manufacturers are dealing with right now. And you see these dealers, I mean, when they're putting these vehicles in the middle of rows and they don't have enough room, there's another full row of vehicles, and then behind it in the bushes, you've got more trucks. Affordability is the biggest issue in the car market right now, and this dealership has got 2 full rows of $100,000+ trucks. Not cutting it for Ford right now. Now here we go. This is what I actually wanted to see. Well, you see that these Mavericks and these Broncos just kind of parked in the middle of this section. They're running out of space to park vehicles here, but this is just a Maverick XL, and this was supposed to be the truck that everyone wanted. It's supposed to be high 20s. So yeah, there we go. 28,000, 29,000 for this little truck, and we haven't been able to get a ton of them at these dealerships, but I'm starting to see a lot more of them pop up. So I guess people who were going to buy, yeah, $30,000. People who were going to buy these Mavericks, maybe they've already bought, and even in that range of high 20s for a little truck. I mean, steel wheels, I mean, you can debate whether this is even a truck or not, but there were a lot of people that really wanted them. They wanted something that was high 20s with a bed in the back of it. And Ford is starting to get more of them. We got some more down there too, to these dealerships, but even so, oh, there's a lot of them. I didn't even notice these. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think down there, 8, 9, just right here. This is the most Mavericks I've ever seen in one location at one time. And market adjustments was something that I saw a lot when I saw Mavericks 12 months ago. No market adjustments here. They have a little bit of add-ons, like $800. But you wouldn't think that they would have this many Mavericks in one place and not be able to sell them. That's interesting to me. Let's see. This is a Lariat right here. And just to show you what the add-ons are right here, it's $878, and then you got all of this stuff. I'm not gonna go through it. It looks like paint protectant. Is there nitrogen? Yep, nitrogen. Hate nitrogen. Get between, and it's a 2024, and that's surprising too. I would think the 2024s would have already been sold. Lariat, $40,000. That's going to be, I think, just about your highest trim level in the Maverick. Might be one more. I could be wrong. This is an XLT right here. I want to look at it too. Again with your add-ons, and 2025. So here's one of the newer ones, and it's an XLT. Price on it's $37,300. So prices, even on the XLT, creeping up there with the newer models. This is what a lot of manufacturers have done. They're increasing their MSRPs. And it's almost comical, because we're having these manufacturers that are increasing their MSRPs, but as they're increasing MSRPs, the dealers aren't selling them. They're having to add incentives. So it's almost counterproductive, where they're adding money to the vehicles out of the factory, and then they're immediately sending money to dealers and rebates to customers to take money off of them. So why don't you just lower the freaking MSRPs and move some cars? Seems counterproductive to me for advertising purposes, because I want to, if I'm a manufacturer, I want to say, okay, we've got a $40,000 F-150 that we can sell you, and all of our competitors, the cheapest trucks they have, are 50 grand. So come buy a F-150, and then maybe you move some. And here is the selfish used car dealer coming out of me. I want this race to the bottom that I am somewhat predicting to really come true, because here's what I want to happen. I want prices to get lowered at all these manufacturers. I want them to be forced to offer $40,000 F-150. I think it'll get bought at that $40,000 range if it's a decent trim level. And I want Ram to come in and say, okay, well, we'll sell a truck at $35,000. And then I want GM to say, okay, well, we got one at $35,000. And then you have Ford says, okay, well, we have to put our truck down to $35,000 when we sell it. If that happens, I think we get a lot of volume, a lot of velocity of money that moves through the car market. And from my selfish perspective here, that means a lot more trade-ins. And if I can get a lot more trade-ins at these dealer auctions, where a lot of these new car dealers, they'll send their trade-ins to the auction where I bid on cars, then my prices can come down. If I can get cars a lot cheaper than what I'm buying them for now, one, I can have better quality cars, because then you have people that are coming in and trading their vehicles, not necessarily because they have to, because they just want to buy a new vehicle. Right now, people aren't trading in their good quality cars because to replace it, it costs so much money. So if we can get prices to come down, then you have more trade-ins, and then I can have my prices come down. I can buy more vehicles, I can do more volume, I can sell my cars cheaper, and that way I can make more money. So if these new manufacturers, these new dealers, they lower their prices, then actually I can make a lot more money because of all the effects that are going to go through the car market just from money changing hands within the car market. It's good. It's good for everybody involved. I think even these franchise dealers, if they can do more volume, they can sell more back-end products, they make more money. I think for the customer, prices coming down, obviously that's a good thing. For used car dealers, prices come down, that's a good thing. We can do more volume, we can sell more cars, make more money. I think the only segment of the car market that really hurts, at least in the short term, are these manufacturers, because they have to add more money to help these dealers sell cars. Their profit margins come down. They would rather do less volume and make more money per car, because it costs them less money to produce everything. And that's what's happened over the last 3-4 years, and that's why they've turned in record profits while doing fewer transactions, is because they made so much money per vehicle. And they don't want to go back to the volume game. Volume game costs a lot of money for these manufacturers. But that's what I'm hoping for, and I think that's what we're going to get back to. It's just, I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I think towards the end of this year, if we get some kind of race to the bottom, I think at least on the truck market side, I think we will get some kind of relief from a lot of these manufacturers, from a lot of these dealers, and we'll start doing more volume. That's what I'm hoping for.